There are towns that vanish from maps, not because they were abandoned, but because they were erased, hidden away, sealed by those who feared what they could not control. One such place was Graymoor, a forgotten village nestled deep in the northern forests. Once thriving, it was now nothing more than a name on yellowed papers, locked in dusty archives. People who lived nearby knew to avoid the area. Roads leading there had long been overgrown, and stories whispered through generations told of an eerie fog that would descend without warning. A fog that whispered. The curious outsiders. Sophie, a journalist obsessed with unsolved mysteries, had always been drawn to forgotten places. She had heard the stories of Graymoor from her grandfather, who swore the town was cursed. "You hear the whispers, and you'll never leave," he had said. But Sophie didn't believe in curses. She believed in stories waiting to be uncovered. Together with her friends, Daniel, a skeptic scientist, and Eli, a thrill-seeking photographer, they decided to find Graymoor. It took weeks of research, old maps, and ignored warnings, but eventually they stood at the edge of the forest, the remnants of a forgotten road leading them into the unknown. The first signs. The deeper they went, the denser the fog became. It moved unnaturally, swirling around them, muffling their footsteps. It wasn't long before they realized they couldn't see the sky anymore. The world had become a dim, gray void. Daniel scoffed. "It's just atmospheric conditions, nothing supernatural." But his voice sounded hollow, as if the fog swallowed the sound. Then they heard it. Faint whispers, like wind through dead leaves, words they couldn't quite understand. Sophie's heart raced. Eli turned, eyes wide. "Did you hear that?" The whispers grow louder. As they walked further, the whispers grew clearer. Voices, soft, pleading, calling their names. "Sophie, help us." She spun around, but no one was there. Daniel's flashlight flickered. He muttered, "There's something wrong with the air here." Eli aimed his camera into the fog. "I saw something move." They all felt it. The presence. Something unseen. Watching. Following. The fog wasn't just hiding the town. It was alive. Graymoor revealed. Suddenly, the fog parted, revealing the skeletal remains of Graymoor. Dilapidated houses, their wooden frames rotting. Streets choked with overgrowth. The air felt thick, heavy with the weight of forgotten lives. They entered the first house, a small, decaying cottage. Dusty furniture, a broken clock, and on the walls, photos of families, their faces blurred, as if erased. Daniel picked up a diary, its pages brittle. The last entry read, "The fog is coming. It knows our fears. It whispers our truths. We must not listen." Eli whispered, "We need to leave." Sophie felt something cold brush her neck. A breath. A voice. Close. "Stay with us." The haunting truth. They ran, but the fog thickened, twisting the streets into a maze. The whispers grew louder, each voice distinct, desperate. They saw figures, shadows moving in the mist, faces blurred, eyes empty. Daniel stumbled, his voice shaking. They're trapped here." The realization hit Sophie like a punch. Graymoor's people never left. The fog had taken them. They reached the edge of town, but the path they had come from was gone. The fog had closed in, a wall of gray, and from within it, the whispers turned to screams. The final choice. Eli's camera caught something, an old stone well at the center of town. The fog seemed to emanate from it, swirling like a living thing. Sophie knew the well was the source, but as they approached, the shadows converged. Shapes stepped from the mist, half-formed broken souls, their faces twisted in silent agony. They were the townspeople, trapped between worlds, their souls bound to the fog. A voice echoed, clear, ancient, filled with sorrow. "Free us." The sacrifice. Sophie understood. Someone had to enter the well, to seal it from within. Daniel protested. There has to be another way. But Sophie knew there wasn't. She turned to her friends, a sad smile on her lips. "Tell our story." Without another word, she stepped into the well. The fog surged, swallowing her. The silence returns. The fog lifted. Graymoor faded, leaving nothing but an empty forest. Daniel and Eli stumbled out, gasping for air, tears streaming down their faces. The road they had come by was clear now, the sun breaking through. But Sophie's voice still echoed in the wind. Some towns vanish from maps. Some stories should never be uncovered.